Hey guys, welcome back to another vlog. Today is about IPL Worlds that recently happened on the Gold Coast, which we had originally from the start 7 members competing in IPL Worlds, but due to some issues we only ended up with 6. So we had 6 come in. All of them had really good preps under the conditions, because a lot of them had competed up to 3 to 4 competitions this year to get to this point, like I've spoke about previously in past vlogs. Today I just want to talk a little bit about each individual athlete and their achievements over the weekend. We had 5 athletes place. We got 3 seconds and 2 thirds, I'm pretty sure. That's amazing out of 6 athletes at a world level competition. First up, we had Laura, and Laura had started with me last year in coaching, and we'd done our first competition as in APL, and she made it from there to nationals, where she competed and did really well and got the total to go to IPL Worlds. So she came into this competition with 4 competitions behind her back by the time she hit IPL Worlds. So like, we haven't really had a solid off season, and we've had to go from like prep to prep, whether they've been 12 to 10 weeks. And she was progressing every competition and making really great progress. We came into this competition with a really good mindset because she hit PRs all in prep, but then 2 weeks out from comp, she actually got sick, and it kind of interfered a little bit with her actual peak. So we got into comp, she hit her opener 130, and then unfortunately missed her last 2 squats. The second one she completely missed, and then the third one they got her a little bit on depth. That was unfortunate. Then she came in and hit a 67 bench, and then a 72 bench, and then missed her 75, which was unfortunate. But then she came in and she absolutely smashed deadlifts, opening on 135, jumping to 145, and then hitting 150. And the 150 was a PR, and we've been trying to get to that point for about 6 months now, and I'm really proud of her and what she achieved on that day. Laura is only young. She's only just came out of juniors into open, so she's 24 now, and she has a big future in this sport. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what she can do. So then in the afternoon, I had Brandon. So Brandon's been with me now for over 12 months. He is one of my really strong 82 kilo boys. He came into this after working like a lot of long hours. We planned for this competition like 12 months ago with Brandon. We got to a point where Brandon couldn't even train because at work he was going away, and he works in the mine. So when he works in the mine, sometimes they go out on rigs, and he would disappear for like 4 or 5 days out on a rig, and then come back and train a couple of days, and then go out on a rig again. So we had a few up and downs that we had to like kind of get into and work with in Brandon. But we started looking for Brandon 12 months ago to get to nationals. He got to nationals, did really well at nationals, and then came to Worlds. And Brandon went in and he hit a 10 kg PB on his squat, which was, no, a 15 kg PB, sorry, which was 210. He missed 220 on his third. So, and then he came in for a bench. And our goal with bench was to beat his PR. So he came in, he opened at 137.5 and smashed it. He hit 145 and absolutely nailed it. And I honestly thought he had 150 in him, but it wasn't there on his third. It just got stuck halfway. So that was a 7.5 kg PB. And then we came into deadlifts, and this prep, deadlifts haven't been really well for Brandon, but for us to pull for second place, he had to pull 260 kilos. So we opened on 235, it moved really well, and then we jumped straight to 250. He pulled 250 and got that, and then I said to him, like, you know, to get second place, because he was already in third, we need to pull 260. So he went for the third at 260, but unfortunately didn't have it on the day. So he ended up placing third place and did really well, and I'm super proud of Brandon. And now we've gone back to the drawing board to build some more muscle, gain some more strength, and maybe look at something else for next year. So Brandon's done really well. We came to day 2. Day 1 went really well. The next day we had up Lee Musgrave and Justin Hadley. So Justin had a really good prep as well as Lee. Lee had a phenomenal prep. Like, I put massive props to this girl because she trains so fucking hard in everything she does. And she does it at like 120% all the time. So Lee came into this prep and she knew that she was like on the podium. She had the numbers to be there, and we were up against like 2 other people. We came into this with the mindset of like competitive, and Lee is a very competitive person. In prep, she squatted 200, she benched 90 kilos and deadlifted 190. So we come to comp day, we hit our first opener on 175 on squats, but unfortunately on her second one and her third, which were 185, she missed her second one couldn't get it out of the hole. She went a little bit too deep. And then on a third, they pinned her for height. Then on bench, we hit an opener of 82, and then we jumped to 87, and she missed 87 on her second and third, so that was unfortunate. So she was having a bit of a rough day to start with. But then we came into deadlifts, and deadlifts are her lift. Like, Lee absolutely dominates deadlifts. So she came in, she opened on this easy 175 kilos. And then I was like, where do you want to jump to? And she's like 185. So we jumped up to 185. And then I was like, well, we came here, this is the end of it. Why don't we just try and get a small PR on one of her lifts? And she absolutely dominated her deadlift and pulled 195 kilos at 82 kilos. And it was one of the most proudest moments I've had with Lee, because Lee has been through a lot in the last 4 weeks that I personally didn't know about. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but to overcome what she was dealing with in her mind at that time and still come through at the end of that competition and pull that weight after having like 4 lifts go not to plan, that's a huge thing. So I can only think of the future of Lee has in this sport with the mindset she has and what she has achieved, even in some of the most stressful times in her life. So well done to Lee, and I have a lot of respect for Lee for still following through with what she did this competition after what she'd been going through. She's now sitting at number 2 place in Australia in all-time tested lifters. So that's a huge achievement for her as well. So next up I had Justin Hartley, and Justin is a good friend of mine and also a really great athlete. He came into this, and this was his 5th competition this year, which blows my mind because it's crazy. And under most circumstances, I would not let athletes compete any more than 2 to 3 a year. 3 is still kind of pushing the limit. But Justin, when he came to me at the start of the year, had already done a competition prior to being with me. And then we were like, let's get you into APL meet. And then he got to nationals. And then when he got to nationals, he didn't get the total for IPL Worlds. So then he went to another competition to get the total for IPL Worlds. And then we got to IPL Worlds, and that was like 5 competitions by the time that we got to IPL Worlds. So Justin hasn't had much of an off season at all. So when we came into this competition, we wanted to hit some PRs and get a good total, but unfortunately we didn't get what we wanted to. And that was just because I think that over the time that we've been training, we haven't been able to actually build some muscle and gain some actual strength. We've just been going from block to block to block to try and peak him all the time, and strength, and there hasn't been a long off-season phase. So we did make a PB total competition before we came into IPL Worlds, but I guess he also did a little bit of a cut, which might have affected the day, but we came in and Justin hit a opener squat of 210, and then we jumped to 220 and he missed 220 on height, and then we went up to 225 and they got him again on height. So he still squatted the 2 squats, and the sad thing is that they move so easy, but we got done on depth on the 2. But then we came into bench and he absolutely smashed his opener, which was 155, and then he jumped to 167, sorry, he smashed that. And then we jumped up to a 175 and he unfortunately missed that, which was a small PR. We came into deads and we hit an opener of 210, and then we jumped to 225 and he got that. And then we jumped to 235 and unfortunately he missed that. So Justin didn't have the best day he could have had at IPL Worlds, but he still placed second in bench only. So that was another placement for him, and I think he ended up finishing fourth or 5th on the actual 3 lift. So well done to Justin, and I'm looking forward to the future with him because he's got a very strong mindset and he's a really driven person, but we just haven't had the right amount of time to build muscle and really focus on getting stronger. So now we're in a big off season, we're gonna gain, and Justin's gonna come back 10 times stronger next year. So day 3, we had D in the morning and Charlie in the afternoon. So this day was pretty solid when it comes to the amount of lifts that we hit and what people achieved on this day. D came in with a really positive mindset. She had a really great prep up until 3 weeks out where we got some shoulder issues, and those shoulder issues actually stopped her from being able to low bar squat. So I had to pull low bar squat out of her programming, put her on safety bar to kind of rehab that shoulder so that we could actually compete on the day. Shout out to Laura Fox from Fox Physio for helping out, and then also Pete from Inspire for helping out as well to get D right back on track. So D came in at her first squat and she opened on 140, which is 7 kilos off her PR. And she absolutely dominated that, like it moved so well. And then we jumped to a small PR of 2.5 kilos at 150. And then we jumped up to 160, which was a 12 kg PB. And apparently she got pinned on height. We jumped to bench. We opened on bench. D opened on 77.5, jumped to 82 and got both of them, and then jumped to 85 and missed that, unfortunately. She didn't have a really good run on bench, no PRs there. We went to deadlifts, and this prep, like her deadlift hasn't been moving. You could say it's been moving, but it hasn't been like going past or rising. Like she hasn't gone up in like PRs or anything like that. Whereas her squat rised heaps. She squatted like a 10 kg PB, and it, like everything in her training was moving really well. So we came in and we hit an opener of 170, and then we jumped to 180, and then she went 182.5. She absolutely smashed the 182.5. I reckon I could have put another 5 kilos on there and she would have got it. So well done to her. She placed second. The competition that she was up against was like an American who was opening her openers on like world records, which was crazy. So well done to Dee and all the hard effort she's put in this year, because she's another one that has competed 4 times this year now, due to like she got to nationals, won nationals, and then didn't get the class 1 total by 5 kilos. So then we went and did another competition, and then she made it to Worlds. She has achieved a lot this year. She is now #1 in all sleeved squatters in the 100 kilo class tested in Australia. So well done to Dee for like absolutely dominating that. Then on the afternoon, we had Charlie. So Charlie's a junior. Like, let's take into account this kid is, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a backstory about Charlie. Charlie came to me 12 months ago or 12, maybe, it might have been 18 months ago now. He weighed 112 kilos. He put up a 260 squat, a 130 bench, and a 230 kilo squat. So now Charlie's lost 12 kilos and he weighed in at 101 at comp, right? So he's competing in the 110 kilo class. This kid put up the craziest numbers I've ever seen a junior put up after losing 10 kilos on top of that as well. Charlie went in there and he opened his squat on 220 and it fucking flew up. So then we jumped to 230 and then I was like, do you want to go like the world record? Because the world record was 242.5. I said, do you want to go 245? And he's like, yep, this is what we came here for, the world record. And then he went in and he absolutely dominated 245 and took the world record squat. And I was so proud of him because we missed that last competition 10 kilos heavier. Then he went into bench, he hit 115, 125, and then missed 130, unfortunately. And then we went into deadlifts and went 240, 255, and then missed 260, unfortunately. He pulled 260 in comp prep, but unfortunately didn't get it this time at comp. He was a little fatigued by the end of the day, but I'm super proud of Charlie. He's a junior, he has a huge potential in this sport moving forward in the future. He's a hard worker and he's always progressing forward. So I'm super proud of my team and everything they achieved at this competition. Worlds was a great event and it was 12 months in the making for my team to get to this point. So everyone that has been involved in this has not only just been my athletes that competed, but my overall whole team who has pushed each other to get to this point, whether you've been a part of just supporting the team or actually just competing. Big thank you to all of you and big shout out to everyone who I've met at IPL Worlds, whether you're an American or an Australian. It's been nice to make new friends and be involved with other people in powerlifting. If you guys are interested in coaching, both myself, Dean, and our team nutritionist, Zoe, have places available at the moment. We're looking at working and building a bigger team for 2023 Nationals APL. So if you're interested in being a part of a team environment to push you and compete as a team together at Nationals next year in APL, send us a message on our socials or just message me on Facebook or Instagram and we can get you involved in our team with coaching. Subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment below. But thanks guys, I hope you enjoy the video.